pandemic attacked the world. It was caused by H1N1 virus. So after a century, in 2020, now we are attacked by coronavirus. So what is the difference between 1920, this virus, and 2020, this virus? Can somebody say what is the major difference? All right, so in corona, 5 crore people were affected with corona and 13 lakh people died. Wherein in influenza pandemic, almost 5 crore people died due to this disease and 50 crore people were affected. That is 13 lakh people died in corona and 5 crore people died in influenza pandemic, wherein the population in 2020 is 7.5 billion and in 1920 it was less than 2 billion. So the major difference here is that we are all digitally connected in 2020 so that we share our information to many other people. Say, for example, if a fight or if a policeman attacks one of our family members or attacks one of the persons in the road, we immediately take a video of that person or immediately take a video of that fight and we upload it in Facebook or any social media. So the video gets viral in just a matter of 30 minutes or even 1 hour. So this is a very great advantage for us to showcase our talent. So while considering that content is the king, content rules it all. When you take Facebook, when you wanted to share an image, when you wanted to share a video, or when you wanted to share any social media content, content plays a major role. Say for example, if you share a WhatsApp status, say for if you're a boy and if you share a WhatsApp status with a girl, you and a girl are posing for a picture and you are sharing it in the WhatsApp. So obviously the unknown persons will think that the person or think that the girl is your girlfriend or your wife or friend. But the fact is that the girl is your sister. Nobody will know unless you say it. So to say that the important mode of communication is content. Content plays an important role. Without content, you can never post anything in social media. People will not understand it initially. So when you consider this, every 0.5 seconds, one blog is being published in the internet. That is, there are more than 1.7 billion websites online currently. So why you have to keep waiting? We can just start something and write something as well. So secret number 1 is that when you write something, you will obviously get paid, and who knows, that might be your dream job as well. So before getting into the secrets of how to write your first ever blog, I'll just tell you the types of writers. There are technical writers, grant writers. Grant writers are the ones who write for non-profits, the ones who write for the funding, based on funding for gathering documentation. Feature writing is the ones who write in magazines, and business writers are there. Ghost writers are the ones. Say, for example, if I'm the CEO of a very big company, I don't have time to write a blog or an article. I hire a writer, I hire a ghostwriter, and the ghostwriter writes a blog for me, and I put it in my social media under my name. So the world knows that I am the author of the blog, wherein the original author is another person, another writer. So that writer is called as a ghostwriter, wherein the ghostwriter is always invisible. It is only known to one person. The ghostwriter does only for pay. There are legal writers, regional writers, creator writers, script writers, fiction writers, obviously autobiographies as well. So the first one is that let your readers know who you are. Before disclosing your personal stuff, you will have to know why you will have to disclose your personal stuff. I'm not telling you to disclose all your personal stuff. What you have to tell your readers is that you will have to tell your name, your professional mail ID, or if you have any Skype ID, you can tell that as well. Or if you have a website of yours or blog site, you can share that in your blog, in the article or in the blog which you write. Why I tell this is that when you take TikTok was banned, but when you take TikTok previously, when you see a person with no profile picture, with no proper name, with no proper introduction, will you go and see their videos? Like they post videos on some information, they post videos on some health related issues, just a 30 seconds videos. Will you trust that information initially if you don't know who that person is? If you can't see the face, if you can't see an interaction about that person? No, right? So that is the reason that I'm telling you to disclose a minor part of your personal stuff. That is your name, your professional mail ID, or your contact information if you wanted to reveal it. This will be easy for your readers to contact you. If somebody likes your article or blog, if somebody wants to hire you, it will be easy for them to reach out to you. You can also upload your LinkedIn link as well. Secondly, it allows you to connect to a lot of people. Connections are more important while considering while you are a writer. While you are who are you writing for? You are writing for a set of audience. So you obviously have to have a few set of connections, a few set of readers for yourself to read your blog, to read your information. Thirdly, audience or readers will trust you for who you are. They will trust your information. If you post something on, if, say for example, if you post a movie review, recently Surya Report released. If you review that movie and if you write a movie review for that person, if you disclose who you are, people will obviously trust your review. People will trust your opinion. People will at least understand what you're coming to say because they know who you are. They have seen your face. They know what you're doing. You're a professional. If you're a student or something. So these are the major things that why I'm telling you why you'll have to disclose your personal stuff, and more importantly, you will create your own brand. When you publish anything in the internet, blog or video or anything, you are exposed to the world. You will have to create your own brand. You are your own brand. Your writing is your brand. So you will have to create a brand initially. So that's why I'm telling you to disclose who you are, just a minor information. Secondly, choose your niche. So what is your niche? So what is my niche? A niche is something where you are the stuff you're good at, the stuff you love, and the stuff you will be paid for as well. Stuff you're good at and stuff you love is completely it has a very minor difference. I am good at cooking, but I don't love cooking. There is a difference between the both. So you will have to choose what your niche is about. I am good at legal writing. I even love to write on legal stuff. So I prefer my niche to be a legal writer. I even get paid for it. So how to find your niche? You'll have to figure out what you love initially. Just write down what you love. Write down your strengths as well. Just keep ticking what you love in your strengths. And most importantly, be self-aware. You are doing it only for yourself. You are not doing it to prove or to satisfy anybody else. And keep brainstorming. The internet has a lot of information. Google has n number of information that whenever you search something, you get a lot of information. Keep always brainstorming so that you will get a lot of ideas and thoughts. Next, what is keyword? How to figure out a topic. This is more important thing that you will have to face in your while you're writing. So what is a keyword? I'll explain you. So when you take how to write, if you just type how to write, you get how to write an opinion piece, how to write an opinion essay, how to write an opinion article, how to write a letter, how to write an essay, how to write an article. So these are all most searched topics that is required. So you can pick up any of these topics so that it will be easy for your blog to reach a lot of people. Say for example, best restaurant in Chennai. See, best restaurant in Chennai, best restaurants near me, best restaurant T Nagar, Chennai. So when I click this one, if you just go below, you can see a lot of related searches. Best romantic restaurants, best restaurants in Chennai near me. So these are all called, that's keywords. When you keep inserting these keywords, you'll have to just keep insert, this is a keyword, this is a keyword. So when you keep inserting these keywords in your blog, say for example, if your topic is about restaurants, you're covering about the best restaurants in Chennai, so you will have to take all these keywords and you will have to insert these keywords at least 1 to 2 times so that your blog ranks in the first position. First two, why all these comes in the first page in the first position is because they have a lot of keywords inserted. This keyword is inserted in this blog. So that is why this gets ranked in the first place. So how to find that is that you can use Ubersuggest. Ubersuggest is one of the important tools that I'm using currently. So when you go neilpatel.com/Ubersuggest and just pick the country and write and when you scroll down, you can see restaurant, restaurant nearby, restaurants. These are the keywords that you can insert in your blog so that your blog ranks in the first position. So this is one. All right. So as I said, these are the keywords that you can insert in your blog according to your topic. So this, the underlined one, this is the meta title. I'll tell you why this is important as well. A meta title should have only less than 60 characters, not words, less than 60 characters. And this is the meta description. This characters should have less than 60 characters. A meta description should have less than 60, 150 to 160 characters can have. I'll show you in Google as well. So see here, there are 3 dots. This means that the meta title exceeds the 60 characters. When the title exceeds more than 60 characters, your SEO sometimes gets uh, gets stuck there. And see here as well, this is the meta description. Here as well, there are 3 dots. Here there are not 3 dots. Here there are not. Zomato has done it right. It's less than 60 characters. It's less than 160 characters in the meta description. So this is very important that you will have to follow. You will find it in any WordPress or Medium or anything. You will find this here, but you will have to search to write this. Else, Medium will do the content on its own. Before writing a topic, before deciding your title of your blog, you will have to do a lot of research. Why do you have to lot of research? When someone asks you, maybe after a year, when someone reads your blog, people ask you why you wrote this, what was the information that you actually wanted to tell your readers. So you will have to have something in your mind to tell them. Firstly, it will improve your writing. More importantly, you will get a lot of information. You will have a wider perspective of what the topic is all about. You will talk to a wider and more general audience, and it is a very great thing to add it in your resume as well. And it will generate a lot of ideas, thoughts, and you will be able to realize the reality. Maybe before 10 years you might have something else in your mind, but now people's minds have completely changed, so you don't know what the reality is about. So you will get to know what reality is when you keep researching a lot. And obviously you will find out what to add and what not to add. It's more important. You shouldn't add a lot of stuff in your blog so that your word count keeps increasing. You will have to add what your readers actually want to read. As a writer, you will definitely have to have a clarity on the context. Context is different and content is different. Most important, say no to plagiarism. What is plagiarism? When you copy something and paste it in your blog, you are not a writer. Make sure that you say no to plagiarism. How to find plagiarism? There are many online tools to check your plagiarism. See, just type plagiarism checker and just see small SEO tools are there. Grammarly is there. duplichecker.com is there, plagiarism detector is there. Always pick 2 to 3 sites and verify it with 2 to 3 sites. Don't stop it with just one site. Just take one of my blogs. I'm just copying this and pasting it here. Check plagiarism. See, 40% is plagiarist in this content. I mean, if you check, compare, it will lead you to that same Tanishq wonderful advertisement. See, Tanishq wonderful advert. From this is the blog from where I just copied pasted it, and this is where it shows. So make sure that you always check the plagiarism. Even minute things matters while writing a blog. When you are a first person, if this is your first blog, make sure that you initially take care of all these minute things that I've mentioned here. You can use quotes, but don't use the quotes often because people already knew a lot of quotes. If you just keep stuffing a lot of quotes, it will be very unwanted and people might just go back to some other sites or something. Secondly, you can use jargons. Jargons means in writing or in marketing, SEO, search engine optimization, is a jargon wherein only that writer or a marketing person will able to understand. The ones in the industry will able to understand that word. So that word is called as jargons. So don't use a lot of jargons while writing a very general blog. You can use jargons while writing legal blogs, technical blogs. And for better understanding, you can add a lot of examples as well. Examples will make people to connect to your uh, context and connect to your blog. Don't use a lot of heavy, very difficult words, very difficult English words. Just keep it very simple. People will have to understand what you're trying to say. Always prefer active voice. There is a difference between active voice and passive voice. Passive voice. So active voice is that I am eating an apple. Divya is eating an apple is an active voice. It is a voice in which we normally talk. Divya is eating an apple. It is a normal voice, normal conversation. But wherein when you take passive voice, an apple was eaten by Divya. This is called as passive voice. So while talking, we talk in active voice, but always while you see people write in active voice. So just consider writing an active voice. That is more better, and it will be easy for the reader to grab your what you're trying to say. Use simple words and yeah, you remove all the redundant words. Redundant words means a word which keeps repeating. Don't repeat a word 3 to 5 times in the same paragraph or in the same block. That means that you don't know a lot of words. So that is one thing. And you can use tabular columns, screenshots, pictures, and you can organize your outline very carefully. Yeah. Always give it some time for the blog to be unique. You can the first draft you write, you cannot expect the first draft to be a very great one. So when you keep drafting it again and again, when you keep revamping it again and again, you will be having a good clarity on it, maybe in the fifth or sixth time. And use catchy headlines. When you use some very vague and very common headlines, it will be, and your blog will be and yet another blog. So to uh, reduce that, to remove that part, you can use some catchy headlines. Subheadings can be used, and you can avoid modifiers. Modifiers means I totally understand. It's a totally is modifier. While we talk like this. I totally understand. But while you write, you need not use the word totally. It doesn't suit for the sentence. Transition words. What is transition words? Is that hence, but, henceforth. So all these connecting words are called as transition words. You can try using all these transition words. And more importantly, keep the length of your sentence to an average of 12 to 15 words per sentence. So that will be uh, when a reader completes a sentence, the reader has to understand the sentence first. Only then the reader have to jump to the next one. When the reader doesn't understand the initial first sentence itself, the reader will get bored when the reader goes to third or fourth sentence. So make sure that the length of the sentence is less than 15 to 20 words. Yeah. So this is one of the examples. Make her give me my money. You can take away the word make and rephrase the sentence in this format. Break her harm if she doesn't give me my money. So this is something different. This is something different, and this is something different. So make sure that when you write a sentence, the sentence has to be little different, but the sentence will have the reader should understand the sentence. So don't bore the reader by giving the same words such as give, make. All these words are commonly used. You can try something different. Yeah. So just go to some content management system, that is take a blog, go to Blogspot. You can create an account there, sign up, establish your profile. As I said, just give a minor information of who you are, what's your niche, prefer your niche, choose your niche very wisely, pick a title, pick up a very interesting and the title which you wanted to research a lot, and set a lot of catchy headlines initially. Pick up one later, but set a lot of one, and prepare a rough draft initially, just 500 to 600 words, and finish it with a very, very beautiful conclusion, very informative conclusion, and start it with a very great introduction as well. Proofread it. Don't forget to proofread. I'll explain you what proofread is. And no plagiarism, strictly no plagiarism. Don't miss out the minute things as I initially said. Give good images, give good related images, and give good meta title and meta description as well. And insert keywords wherever necessary. Target audience. Target audience means if you are writing a blog, say best restaurants in Chennai, if you wanted to write on best uh, electronics, best phones, best mobile phones in 2020. So when you say best mobile phones in 2020, it covers the whole world. Whole world can read the blog. But when your title is like best mobile phones in 2020 in India, so your target audience has to be only, you'll have to connect only through Indian audience. You cannot write for US audience because the title is for only India. So make sure that our Indians have to understand your content. Our Indians will have to relate to what you're writing. So make sure that you prefer your target audience before you write. Proofreading. Proofreading. What is proofreading? When you complete a blog, you will have to read it again. Read it twice. Read it after 3 or 4 hours. Don't read it immediately. When you complete a blog now, don't read it immediately. Give it some time. Give it 2 or 3 hours. Go take some rest. Eat something. Go out. Do something, and then come again and read it. You will find a different context yourself. Sometimes you might not understand. Sometimes you might think that your article is good. So it depends on your perspective. So give it some time and proofread your article before publishing it anywhere. So that is more important. So this is one thing that I'd like to say. Keep in mind for better blogging results. Always write in first person or second person. First person means I. Second person, he, him. So it is preferably good when you write it in first or second person. Your humor is more important. Be very humorous when writing. Don't be very serious while writing. There are a few blogs where you will have to be serious while writing, but not every blog. So make sure that you add something in between, and you can show your creativity, but make sure that the opposite person should have to understand your creativity, because when you write a blog and submit it in some sites, not everybody will come and ask you the meaning. Somebody might just go out saying that this author is not good, this author's blogs are not understandable. So don't give space for that. And these are just vague words, this, that. So avoid using all these. And link to many good websites. If you write a blog on marketing, link your blog, link some of the words to Neil Patel's blog, because he's a very good person in the marketing side, marketing industry. So if you link your blog with the person, it will be easy for the readers to match your blog with that person. This is for the credibility as well. And plan your keywords in prayer, as I told you. You can use Ubersuggest, as I told you. And the readers will skip many of your words. It happens, obviously. Some of your words might be a little difficult to understand. So make sure the sentence is very simple. You can use subheadings, written points. You can bold a few words as well. So I think this is the last slide. So there are two types of content. One is evergreen one and another one is seasonal one. Evergreen one is that you can write about, when you write a blog about Brihadeeshwara temple, it is a evergreen content. That is, even I can read it, even my next generation can read it, the next generation can read it, even the third, fourth generations can read it as well. So that's the evergreen content. Whenever people come, they can read that content. But where is seasonal content is that on December 25th, on December 25th morning, if you release an article on Christmas, how Christmas evolved, how what is the concept behind giving gifts while Christmas. So if you write topics related to that, so those are all called as seasonal content, because a lot of searches will happen on Christmas, during the Christmas season, during Thanksgiving, during Gandhi Jayanti. So these are all called as seasonal content. One of the seasonal content which I have written is that this Tanishq ad. I think many of you knew that this Tanishq ad was not welcomed by our people. It wasn't welcomed by our people in a very good way. So immediately what I did is that I created a blog and I wrote a blog on this. What was the story play in this video and why this blog wasn't welcomed by our people. So immediately I wrote this. So this is a seasonal blog because many people will keep surfing, and it is a luck, and it is related to SEO as well. When our blog comes in the first page, then I will get a lot of readers through that. And breaking news, political news are all comes under seasonal content. So yeah, so last slide is the guest blogging. What is guest blogging is that it is a content marketing and SEO technique where someone writes and publishes a blog post on a third party website. So I'll tell you what guest blogging is about. So there is a website, turningpoint.media. You can check this out. I'll show you that as well. So you write a blog. I hope you understand how you have to start your first blog. Just write a vague blog and share it to the email ID which I've mentioned here, Divya at turningpoint.media. So this is the site. This is the site, turningpoint.media. So here many people have come and written blogs. So when you write a blog to a third party website, so that is a guest blogging. You are a guest blogger now. If you write your blog and if I publish it in turningpoint.media, you are a guest blogger. So you can do a lot of guest blogging here. So you can try to write a blog through the things which I've told you, and you can share it to this email ID. If you want, you can make note of it, and I will just give it a read. I'll give a read of your blog, and I'll make sure that I'll publish it in the website. So happy writing to all. You can stay in touch with me. This is my mail ID, and here's my LinkedIn ID as well. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. It's been a great session. Thank you for your valuable time.
Thank you.
Closing thoughts by our club president, Dr. Ratna Lokeshwaran.
Good evening to one and all. And thank you so much, ma'am. It's really pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. The pleasure is mine as well.
It's really a great session. In a great, uh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lokeshwaran. Vote of thanks by the Secretary, Dr. Kiran Shetty.
I'm audible, right?
Yes, Kiran, you're audible.
Very good evening to all. First of all, I extend my thanks to our resource person, Ms. Divya Krishna, for a wonderful session. We could simply say that it was A to Z of how to write a blog. Beautifully explained, and it was very in simple English words so that everyone can explain. And being a woman, it will be a very motivation for every woman out here to start writing a blog. So it was a very wonderful session, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And at last, I want to thank all the participants, including our club protractors, for supporting this event. Thank you.
Thank you, Kiran. Adjournment of the event.